What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another edition of Yoga with Euda. This is the Worrier, not Worrier episode. Ha 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 ha. I cracked myself up. Anyway, normally I start my practices seated with a lot of focused awareness on the breath, but we are trying to keep this particular video under 30 minutes, so we're going to start standing. If you find yourself in the kind of anxious or kind of chaotic energy that makes you feel like you want to start seated, you can scroll back into my videos, and a few videos back there is a Yoga with Yuda psychic sleep edition, and that is a wonderful, wonderful video to start a practice with. It's completely seated. Then you can move to either this video or the hearts and hips, and then finish out with my guided meditation video. That's just a suggestion, but I feel like either one of these two kind of high energy, this one, the Worrier, not Worrier, or hearts and hips, sandwiched in between the psychic sleep and the guided meditation is like the perfect series. But we are going to go ahead and get started with the Worrier, not Worrier. And in the interest of really warming up the body appropriately, I'm going to start us off with two sun salutations. So yeah, let's go ahead and come to the top of our mat, finding our strong mountain legs. That's hip joint, knee joint, and ankle joint in a straight line. For those who have not heard, mountain pose, or in my opinion, any variation of mountain pose with your bare feet directly on the earth, is a really, really wonderful practice as far as clearing your energy field. When we're barefoot on the earth, or even when our hands are in the earth, we're really allowed to exchange our energy with the earth's energy, which is much better. Anyway, so we are still going to take a little bit of time to slow down and get centered in our breath before we get started. So if you haven't already, go ahead and begin to breathe deeply. Making sure that we allow both the stomach and the lungs to expand on the inhale, and allowing them both to contract on the exhale. Feel free to close your eyes during this breathing practice and take some time scanning the body, breathing into the parts of the body that are feeling tension, shoulders are relaxed, hip joint, knee joint, and ankle joint are in alignment. Palms can be gently pressing in on each other, opening the back of the shoulders and the back of the heart. Weight should be evenly distributed over the bottoms of the feet. And if you are compelled to do so, you can engage the quads, the glutes, the hams, the abs. You can even add a kegel to kind of intensify the stance. We're going to take 9 more big breaths here. Don't worry about counting the breaths. I can count the breaths. You might want to say a prayer or set an intention for the practice. We're going to take 3 more big breaths. One more big breath. Then let's gently relax the body, relax the arms down, and when you're ready, let's inhale the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, folding forward slowly from the hips, starting with a straight leg, feeling free to bend the legs at some point on the way down. If this is the beginning of your practice, be gentle. We are not warmed up at all, so don't overtax the back of the legs. Feel free to support yourself with the hands on the mat or even on the shins. Breathing into the back of the legs. Let's inhale the right leg back. Drop the right knee down. Breathing into this right psoas. One more big breath into the right psoas. Dropping the palms down, bringing the left leg back for plank. Fingers are sprayed wide. Try to get the weight on the ball of the hand instead of the wrist. Breathing deeply. One more big breath. Exhaling down. Inhaling cobra. Abs can be engaged. Shoulders should be relaxed away from the ears. We're honoring the lower back here. Don't allow for lower back pain, even if that means you have to stay further down or even all the way down. Just breathe into your lower back. One more big breath. Tucking the toes, exhaling, down dog. Inhaling the right foot forward, dropping the left knee down. Hopefully there's no nipple in this video. Breathing into the left psoas. Chose a bad top. One more big breath. Dropping the palms down. Exhaling, forward fold. Breathing into the back of the legs, abs can be engaged. One more big breath. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling, prayer pose. 3 relaxing breaths. One more big breath. Gently releasing the palms down, inhaling them up overhead, exhaling, forward fold. Breathing into the back of the legs. Abs can be engaged. Mm. One more big breath. This time inhaling the left leg back, dropping the left knee down. Right knee is directly above right heel. Breathing into the left psoas. Abs can be engaged. Feel free to add a Kegel. One more big breath. Dropping the palms down, bringing the right leg back for plank. Abs are engaged, fingers are spread wide. One more big breath. Gently releasing down to the mat. Inhaling cobra. Abs can be engaged, glutes can be engaged. You can add a Kegel if you want. One more big breath. Tucking the toes. Exhaling, down dog. Abs can be engaged, knees can be bent. You can alternate walking the knees or just bend them all together. I'd really rather you focus on finding a straight line from wrists to hips, really pushing through the palms. Oh. And one more big breath. Inhaling that left leg forward, dropping the right knee down. Left knee is above left heel, breathing into the right psoas. Feeling free to use the abs and even a Kegel to support the torso. You can even stay supported by the hands if you're compelled to do so. Oh, I needed this. One more big breath. Dropping the palms down. Exhaling, forward fold. So you should be a little warm now. If you feel like you're warm enough, feel free to hang here for a moment. Really opening up the back of the legs and the back of the neck. Breathing deeply into the back of the legs. Abs can be engaged. Just take 3 more big breaths here. One more big breath. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Ooh, that felt nice. Exhaling, prayer pose. 3 big, relaxing breaths. One more big breath. And now we will get into our Worrier series. So let's bring the right foot up front, perpendicular to the short edge of the mat, dropping the left foot back. Not too far, making sure that you can bring the hips square with the front of the mat. Again, feeling free to use your abs, your Kegels, even your middle bandha, if you're aware of it, for supporting the torso. So inhale the arms up and bend the front leg. Ooh. For Warrior 1. Breathing deeply. One more big breath. Turning sideways, bringing the back foot perpendicular or parallel to the back of the mat. Arms are straight out to the side, front leg is still bent. Let's turn the head to look over the front middle finger. Breathing deeply on Warrior 2. Dropping this left elbow back, bringing the right arm overhead, looking up at that right palm for reverse warrior. Coming back to Warrior 2, and then be careful, take your time. And let's find our way into Warrior 3. Woo! Man, I used to hate the Warrior series, but now I love it, and I need it, and that's why we are here, learning to be warriors and not worriers. All right, let's do the other side, bringing the left foot forward, perpendicular to the short edge of the mat. The right leg drops back at about 45 degrees. Just enough for a good stretch, but not too much. You want to be able to bring the hips square with that short edge of the mat. Inhaling the arms up overhead, bending your front knee for Warrior 1. Feeling free to use the abs, the lower bandhas for support if you're compelled to do so. Breathing deeply into the legs or whatever part of the body is calling for the attention. One more big breath. Turning, bringing that right foot parallel to the back of the mat. Arms are straight out. Head is turned, looking over the middle of the front finger, or looking over the front middle finger. How about that? Breathing deeply in Warrior 2. Dropping the right elbow back, looking up at the palm in reverse warrior. Coming back to Warrior 2. And then finding our way into Warrior 3. Engaging the abs helps with balance. Finding a focal point helps with balance. Didn't help me that much though. I'm going to try that Warrior 3 again. Because I love it. Because I need it. I need it in my life. Alrighty. Whew. So now we are warriors and not worriers. Before you sit down or lie down, which is what we're actually going to do, it's always a really good idea to make sure that your heart rate is not elevated. So feel free to kind of follow along or just give your body whatever it's asking for. Move some energy around. But ultimately, we're just trying to bring the heart rate down. When you're sure that you don't have an elevated heart rate, let's go ahead and come onto our backs. Starting with a bent knee, feet planted a comfortable distance from the hips. Just extend the spine, get as much of the spine on the ground as possible. To even tuck the chin briefly, so that when we come down on that crest at the back of the skull, We're looking more down at our knees instead of straight up at the ceiling, which is effectively allowing the upper spine to also stretch towards the mat. Let's go ahead and just open our arms here and relax for about, let's take 5 big breaths. Completely relaxing, allowing all the tension to leave the body and fall into the mat. 3 more big breaths. One more big breath. Now let's go ahead and extend this left leg all the way straight out. We're going to keep this left calf and or heel on the mat as we hug the right knee into the right armpit. Gently opening the hips, massaging the ascending colon, helping the body out with digestion. Making sure that our chin is tucked, the upper spine is also approaching the mat. Three more big breaths. One more big breath. Extending the right leg, keeping the right heel and or calf in contact with the mat as we hug the left knee into the left armpit. Chin is tucked. Upper spine is approaching the mat as we open the hips a little bit more. Massaging the descending colon this time, helping to prepare the body for elimination. Breathing deeply. Three more big breaths. One more big breath. Now bringing that left knee towards the center, bringing the right knee up next to it. Let's again extend the spine. Tuck the chin briefly. We're going to do full gas pose. It's going to be hard to breathe into the stomach, so try to send your breath into the lower back. Massaging the transverse colon, evening out stomach acids. This is a pose that supposedly you can get the entire spine on the mat if you practice it enough, including the upper spine. Breathing into the lower back, abs can be engaged. Feel free to add a Kegel. Three more big breaths. Let's release the knees, but let's leave them hovering, bringing the arms straight out to the side, palms face down. We're going to use the arms and hands for support and lateral twist. So let's shift the hips just a tiny bit to the left, and then let's drop the knees to the floor on the right, feeling free to keep the head centered or turning the head to attempt to see what's going on behind this left shoulder. Breathing deeply into the exposed rib cage. 3 more big breaths. Inhale the knees up, bringing the spine back into a straight line, tucking that chin briefly so the top of the spine is approaching the mat. Arms are extended. We're going to shift the hips 1 inch to the right and drop the knees to the floor. On the left, staying centered or turning the head to see what's going on behind the right shoulder. Breathing deeply into the exposed rib cage. Three more big breaths. One more big breath. Inhaling those knees back up, bringing the spine back into a straight line and preparing for Savasana. Savasana is the first most important pose. Your breath is your first most important part of the practice. And then Savasana is the first most important pose. You always want to give your body time to rest and adjust to the movement you've just done before you go back to your day. So ideally the legs are extended, heels are slightly wider than hip distance apart, toes are kind of flopped open or doing whatever is natural based upon your hips, knees, and ankles. Arms are down by the side, palms face up. For some folks, this is very uncomfortable for the lower back, so if you feel like you need lower back support at any point, feel free to bend the knees, planting the feet, letting the knees kind of fall in on each other, and then practicing your Savasana this way. I'm not going to stay here the entire time because, again, we want this video to fit within 30 minutes. But I do suggest that you take at least a 7-minute Savasana. A 20-minute Savasana is really awesome. And if you're not comfortable with silence for that amount of time, again, feel free to turn on the guided meditation video. And you can use that while you are in Savasana. Whatever you decide to do, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Yoga with Euda. Warrior, not worrier. Happy Sunday Fun Day. I love y'all so much. Peace.